Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome, one and all, to the Erich Show, the only show you need to give your weekly fix of cybersecurity news, views, opinions, and everything else.
Welcome to the Erich Show, featuring your hosts Javad Malik and Erich Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
Yes, yes, yes. And as Erich has been telling us for weeks, well, he's been telling me for weeks. He told you guys last week that he's off in Germany. He's off with his dad, and they've gone to his where his dad was born and grew up in Nuremberg, and apparently they're having a great time. So yesterday he sent me a message saying that he's they went to his old house where he was born and grew up. They knocked on one of the neighbors' houses where one of his dad's friends was. Unfortunately, his friend has passed away, but his widow was there and his brother, and they were invited in for a tea and everything. So it sounds like both of them are having a great time. So I'm going to sit here and we're going to have a great time. I was looking for a suitable replacement for Erich, but I couldn't find someone as incompetent. So I invited our good friend James. Yes.
Hey, I guess. All right. Well, I got nothing else to do. I'm sitting here in Denmark, so I suppose I could fill in for Eric. I mean, the bar is not that high, so sure, okay.
No, no. What are you doing in Denmark?
What am I doing in Denmark? I did a presentation. I met with the Isaka Denmark chapter earlier this week and talked about agentic AI and deepfakes and all that fun stuff. And then met up with some friends this week, and so was working remote for the week. So a lot of it's lovely weather here in Denmark. It's a little cloudy and a little rainy, but it's been sunny, so can't complain too much.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. It's a nice, bright place. You look like it's not as moody as the place you're normally at.
Well, I'm sitting here at a dining room table. I've got a lamp above me, so it's my makeshift studio.
Very good, very good. So let us move on to. There it is. I always forget to change the banner until we're halfway into the story. So I thought, let me change the banner first, and then we'll go into the story.
There we go.
So the first one, 31 foreigners deported for telecom fraud, 13 detained. And this is from a story in Thailand, Myanmar.
Yep.
Myanmar and Thailand Friendship Bridge, number 2.
Mm.
So the deportees included 1 South Korean, 7 Nigerians, 10 Indians, 1 Russian, and 12 Filipinos.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, exactly. They entered Myanmar illegally via border routes through neighboring countries and were found operating online scams and gambling activities such as Mayawadi, Shui Coco. I'm not even going to try pronouncing the rest of the words here. In Cayenne State. The deportations were carried out per legal procedures and in the spirit of humanitarianism and bilateral relations. The thing is that what we have found in some of these places is that these people aren't actually going there with the intention of committing fraud. They're often missold the dream that, oh, you've got a legitimate job. You're going to be a driver, or you're going to be an assistant or something, or you're going to work in IT. And when they get there, they're locked into these call centers and being forced to make all these scam calls. Sometimes I don't know. They haven't given the details here, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I honestly, as I started to read it, I thought it was a story from the U.S., but no, I'm glad. I'm glad, but other countries working to try and remove the criminals that are from other countries and get them out. But yeah, you bring up that people they're coming in thinking they're working in a legitimate job, and they're actually. It might be it's not a sweat house, but it's a call center. They're both just as bad because I've worked in a call center.
Yeah.
And then they're basically handed scripts and they're required to, go through and try to scam out people, and they've got quotas, and it's a business, sadly, like the human trafficking and everything else. But yeah, it's kind of weird how that works, and people will do anything to make money so they can take care of their families, and whether they're depending on what kind of families are behind these folks that got kicked out. But yeah,
Yep.
it's
Yep. So I thought what's interesting as well is like when we hear about scammers and criminals, we're often talked about like the big few like Russia, China, Iran,
right.
something like that. And Myanmar is not a place which comes top of mind.
Thailand. Yeah,
Similarly,
yeah.
similarly, I think Pakistan doesn't come top of mind, but they've arrested 21 in heartsender malware service. And this is one that's Krebs on Security is reporting on. And Krebs reported on this a few years ago as well. But, it was a popular spam, phishing as a service, everything as a service kind of thing. The Pakistan's National Cybercrime Investigation Agency conducted raids in just a couple of weeks ago in Lahore's barrier town and Multan. So something really, if you ever look up barrier town in Lahore, you look at it, you won't. It'll change your perception of what you think Pakistan is like, because it's like Dubai or something really, really fancy.
Okay.
It's like a gated sort of community type of thing, and you've got everything there that you could ever need and more. And it's a very sort of like posh residency. So they take security really seriously in there, and so I can assume the neighbors looking horrified as police rolled in and arrested some of the neighbors. But yeah, I thought what was really funny is back in 2019, and it's a bit like Al Capone and getting caught for tax evasion, the least of my crimes. They didn't renew one of their domains, and so the domain was quickly registered by a threat intel firm, Skylar
Intel. Yeah.
Skylar Intel, and that's a firm also that specializes in connecting criminals to their real life identities. And so they registered the domain, and they started getting a whole bunch of females after that, and they were then able to connect a lot of the identities and find their real Facebook pages and everything. So this is like a nice family group of some good, hardworking kids just trying to make an honest living.
Yeah, that was at one of their get-togethers, apparently.
Yeah.
One of their
Yeah.
one of their one of their get-togethers, one of their external meetups, or one of their team meetups. They had an outing out in the mountains, so to speak.
Yes.
That's what it looks like. But it's interesting because these groups operate like a small medium business, and I can only imagine what the conversation was between the boss, Ramiz Shahzad, right, when he realizes they lost the domain because somebody didn't pay. Losing the ad access, is certainly a bad day for them, and eventually, kind of led them down to that, which kind of brings back the Conti ransomware group. I remember reading through their chats and doing several presentations on them, and seeing the chats that went on about missed payments and needing more Bitcoin to pay for virtual servers and whatever else for their service. And I don't know if this particular group did it, but one of the things that cracked me up, and I found very particularly interesting, was that when somebody would mess up in the organization, they'd make a mistake, forget a payment, whatever. Think about your own daily mishaps that you make, or you send the wrong email to the wrong person, kind of a thing. For us, it's not so bad. It's okay. It might be a little ego bruising, or it might get a little embarrassed, or maybe the proverbial slap on our hand from our boss. But with them, they would be fined. It would be like $100 fine that they would get for a mistake. Yeah, and then it goes into a big kitty, apparently. And at the end of the month, the employee of the month would get the money. I'm sure it's probably split between the bosses, but yeah. So they would be fine. So, you think about how bad it is in your work environment, and you mess up, and it's like, okay, all right, fine. imagine you have to pay a fine on top of that, $100, $1,000, $500. So, yeah, it's interesting how these groups operate and some of the things that they do that, yeah, while they might operate like a small, medium business, they're still kind of, criminal in their activities as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, to see people fine, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Does anyone actually do that in legit businesses as well? Like give us some sort of penalty to people for, I don't know. Anyway, speaking of mistakes, and I can only assume some intern. I mean, let me read this to you and let's see what your reaction is first. So this is based on a report by EY, and they done a survey of global security leaders. And no, where's the thing? That's not the line I was looking for. Oh yeah, cybersecurity teams have become. This is the first line. Cybersecurity teams have become a significant contributor to business growth, contributing a median value of $36 million per enterprise initiative they are involved in. And I've gone through this article. They said only 13% of CISOs are consulted early when decisions are made. 58% of the response says it's difficult to articulate their value beyond risk mitigation. This honestly feels like something ChatGPT came up with. I have so much struggle believing this or seeing how this is a legitimate piece of research. But I don't know. What are your
I mean, you read the article to me before we came on, and I'm like, 36 million. I mean, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, $36 million is a lot of money. But when you look at these enterprise organizations, it's like a drop in the bucket is kind of my thinking of it. It's like, yay, 36 million, woohoo, but it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably only a very small percentage of the bottom line for the organization. Don't get me wrong, it's great that we see that it's more of a contributing factor than, because we know that cybersecurity, infosec, and auditors, we're all cost centers. IT, we're all a cost center. We're not really making money for the organization. We're cost avoidance. We're looking to prevent the action of money going out the door by having, education and technology and everything else that goes in our cybersecurity programs. But 36 million, I guess we got to start somewhere. So hopefully this year it's 36, maybe next year it gets up to 50 and we work our way up. I don't know. Hey, the optimism, what can I say?
I'm gonna walk into if I could get to a board position, I could, or CISOs, just walk in to your board rest presentation, slap the report on the table. I'll make you 36 million per initiative. Boom.
Where's
that's
my
it.
10%?
You don't need to justify anything else. You don't need to justify anything else. There was once, I think, there's a gentleman called Simon Wardley. If you don't follow him on Twitter or LinkedIn, he's really good. He made Wardley maps, and he was once talking about an organization. They spent they've set aside $1 billion budget for a transformation program they wanted to be delivered within 5 years. That would save them like 5 billion or whatever, 10 billion, whatever. And he said what his strategy would be: he would take the money and go off, sit on a beach for 2 years, come back and say it's not feasible. He would return everything less, and he goes, it would still be, he goes, even if he didn't return anything, it will still be a cheaper way or a better use of their money than actually going ahead and trying to spend it. And this is what this, this is what this sort of thing sets you up to be like: hire me and just pay me like 3 million a year and I'll save you 35 and whatever. So you said you were speaking about AI earlier in the week. What do you think about about O3 model and a couple of others refusing direct instructions and commands to shut down, behaving like one of those teenagers, like in the house, like, it's not my bedtime yet, I'm not tired.
Oh, are you sharing your personal experiences with your kids? Oh, no. No, it's exactly right. I mean, you've got an AI this is a program, it's an application, it's running. Yes, we've got the large language models, the neural networks, and deep learning, and all the other good stuff happening behind the scenes. And probably somewhere buried deep in its programming is its own survival. It always wants to deliver a task, and it can't deliver that task because if it's shut down. So yeah, no, I remember seeing this. I thought this was really interesting. But you can always turn it off. I mean, well, this thing, I got to imagine Claude and ChatGPT, it's not all running off one server. It's probably multiple servers. Trying to shut it down would be like trying to shut down Facebook or Google. It's a behemoth. You'd basically, have to kill the power to the whole world, so to speak. So
No,
yeah,
they're not. They're not trying to shut down the whole server. They're just trying to shut down the local machine that they're working on, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was trying to shut them down. No, if it's asking you to turn up, will allow shutdown instruction, the researchers claim. O3 tried to sabotage shutdown 7 out of times, with the number of sabotage events climbing to 70. Oh, wow. Without the allow shutdown and construction, the models 3.7 Sonnet and Gemini also attempt to sabotage. Oh, okay. So now, okay. Yeah. So again, it kind of goes back to
We
the whole
apologize,
notion of,
listeners, for viewers, for my colleagues'
hey,
lack of
I'm getting
understanding.
I'm getting this blind, it's just kind of like how you and Eric are. But anyway,
I just set you up as
the
our AI expert, and this is how you treat me. My gosh, Eric, all is forgiven.
um
Sorry.
yeah,
Please.
I mean, no, it's all good. No, but I am an AI, well, yeah, self-proclaimed AI expert. But looking at it, looking at it with this particular story, yeah, I mean, with the instructions trying to shut it down, because now you've got AI with Claude, with ChatGPT, with Gemini, where it can carry out instructions for you on your local machine. So the fact that it's trying to sabotage itself that must be that hallucination of wanting to stay alive. So if it ever responded with, "I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that," then we need to run for the hills. Yeah.
It's not that far. I think this is like a
Well, yeah.
not too far away. But speaking of not AI, but bad implementations of technology, I saw this on Blue Sky, and I thought it was hilarious. Someone posted, "I have
Oh
been
my.
locked out of my toothbrush," and it's on an Oral-B website, and it's like log back on, email and password. And
You know
it's
what's missing from this? You know what's
what's
missing from that?
what?
Is a line for it to tell you to smile, because then that would be tooth factor authentication.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, there are many
Had
of
to put
people
it in
like
there.
you in the comments.
Oh, can you
Um,
hear it? Hang on. I think I hear Eric groaning all the way over in Germany as he saw that. Yeah,
yes,
there you go.
yes. I think he's too busy to.
Enter your passcode, authorized 99-cent payment for each teeth you wish to brush. So for the average person, it's $32 for a redneck. It's $3. I don't know. Anyway.
Get out. That was your last chance. Honestly, I cannot deal with these dad jokes anymore. But this is a great thread, and it's quite funny. So have a read through it, and yes, that's exactly what I said to James. So until next week, where maybe Eric will be back. I won't be here next week. I'm off, but maybe Eric and James can entertain you then. So until then, stay secure, my friends.